Now, although the 2024 national election is coming up later this year, according to a new poll, over 35% of registered voters say there's currently no political party that represents their views. On top of that, the poll has ANC support at well under 50%, with some big gains predicted for the EFF. Newzroom Afrika's Andersen takes a deep dive into the numbers.
It's an election year, and that means political parties and research groups alike have all commissioned polls, and more polls. This week, we are taking a deeper look at two polls in the spotlight. One from Ipsos, which provides projections for 3 different voter turnout scenarios. And the other, a large-scale survey commissioned by new party Change Starts Now, before it launched. The Ipsos poll surveyed 3,600 registered voters, face-to-face and in their home language, between October and the 1st of December last year. When including the answers of those saying they will not vote, or simply aren't sure yet, the picture looks even more grim for the ANC. The poll in this scenario shows the ANC at just 38.5%, but shows massive growth for the EFF. The party sits at over 18% and is ahead of the DA at 17.3%. Another interesting takeaway is that in its first national election, Action SA might be almost neck and neck with the IFP, sitting at just over 3%. Another hot topic for this election is what will happen in KwaZulu-Natal, now that former President Jacob Zuma's Mkhonto weSizwe party is set to take a significant chunk of the ANC support in the province. David Everett, from Wits University School of Governance, believes the IFP can feel very confident.
I think Mkhonto weSizwe may have, well, we have no idea, but it may have changed. If it changes anything, it'll affect ANC voters. It's not going to take DA voters or IFP voters. But the ANC support has collapsed. It really has plummeted to a quarter of the votes, heading towards a fifth. And the ANC is not in any position, if this is how the vote is realized on voting day, the ANC will not be in any position to dictate terms for a coalition. That would fall to the members of what is the Moonshot Pact. But the IFP is now level pegging with the Democratic Alliance in the province, and they must be feeling that they've got some momentum now.
The Change Starts Now poll surveyed over 9,000 respondents nationally. And while the ANC comes in at about 42% overall in that poll, in KZN it sits at just 26%, while the DA and IFP in the other category are almost neck and neck. As mentioned, once MK officially contests, the ANC will almost certainly drop even further. Another standout result from the CSN survey comes from the Western Cape, where the DA is sitting at 42% on this poll, meaning it would lose its 50+1 majority in the province. In terms of the DA's issues nationally and in the Western Cape, Everett says that the polling focus groups reveals that the idea of the DA's success at governance in the province all depends on whereabout in the province you live.
There's a deeper problem facing the DA, and I think the issue of attitudes to Palestine and the conflict that's going on there will certainly not have helped the DA in a way it's playing that game. But I think we found a more deep-seated problem for the DA, which is in all previous elections that I've polled, which is all of them since '94, the DA has always had a sense of mission, a sense that they were there to save the country, that you were really driven to vote for the DA. Even when it was small, the Democratic Party under Tony Leon, they had the sense that we can do great things. We've really, in our voter segmentation, that's really declined dramatically.
So what about the different levels of voter turnout? With over 27 million registered voters, it's no secret that not all of them will actually make the trek to the polling station on the day. And the latest Ipsos poll takes that into account, with the high, medium and low voter turnout projection. In all 3, the ANC sits below 50%, with a maximum of 46.3%, while the DA would retain its place as official opposition, with a possible share of 21%. In each scenario, though, the EFF still shows huge gains, with a vote share of 18.5% in a high turnout scenario and a 16.7% block in a low turnout. That growth is particularly noticeable when you consider that the EFF managed just over 10% of the national vote back in 2019. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Andersen in Johannesburg.